How did you first become interested in Ayn Rand?
So I was a doctoral student in Berkeley, California, and I was casting about for a good dissertation topic, and it seemed like every time I would get on the bus or go to a friend's house, I would see an Ayn Rand book. She was just everywhere, and so I went to the library to see what people had written about Ayn Rand because I realized she was a historical figure. There must be something about her, and I found there was very little work on her. There were two camps. All the books were written by people who were friends with her or enemies of her. So the first camp was Ayn Rand is the greatest thinker to walk the face of the earth, and the other, Ayn Rand is the source of all evil. And I just thought, she arouses such passion, she sparks such debate, and nobody's really sat down and taken a clear-eyed look at her as a historical figure and what she's done. And so I felt like there was a great opportunity, and she was such a engaging personality. She had such an operatic life. So many things happened to her that I almost didn't even know I was working when I was writing my dissertation. It was so fun.
What was the writing process like when writing Goddess of the Market?
So I went through several different stages. The first stage was writing the dissertation, and that a dissertation is a very specific type of scholarly work, and you are setting yourself in a larger scholarly conversation. And I was just trying to get a handle on who is this person and what's most significant about her. So I finished the dissertation, and then I put it away, literally did not look at it for a year, and I was teaching and doing other things. Then I came back to it to make it into a book, and I think that maybe there's 2 sentences from the dissertation that are still in the book. I just rewrote it from the ground up because I didn't quite have confidence in what I was saying in the dissertation. I was still trying to feel my way into the topic, and when I came back to the book, I had such a stronger sense of what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it. And so I would just rewrite every single sentence, and sometimes I'd be editing and I'd think, this is terrible, where did this come from? I think, oh yeah, it came from my dissertation, so it acts it. So I basically wrote 2 books on Ayn Rand. I wrote a dissertation and then I wrote a book. And it went through every different phase. There would be days when I would be writing all day long, late at night. There would be days when I'd only be doing 45 minutes of writing a day. I think as a writer, you just have to kind of keep at it and know that it all adds up over time.
How is she so influential now in the conservative movement?
Well, Rand's popularity kind of comes and goes with the political cycles, and she gets really popular when conservatives are out of power. They sort of start thinking about who they are, what are their fundamental principles, what is the vision they have for the future, and Ayn Rand proves really helpful to that process. She has a strong set of ideas, she has a strong set of political beliefs, and she has this novel that depicts a worst case scenario of what's going to happen to America if it's not restored to its founding principles. So I think people go back to her for replenishment and encouragement, and also a lot of new people are coming to her because her critique of her depiction of a society that's faltering economically is ringing true for a lot of people today. So they're coming to her for answers about why this is happening, or just to read something that resonates with what they're experiencing
What would
today.
she think about issues such as gay rights and gay marriage, along with abortion and free choice?
So we definitely know she was pro-abortion, and or pro-choice. She got involved in writing. She urged her followers to write letters to the New York legislature when they were liberalizing abortion law in the early 1970s. She was very against Ronald Reagan because of his pro-life stance. So we know she absolutely considered a woman's right to control her own body fundamental, and she considered that to be her absolute right until the child was physically born. In terms of gay rights and gay marriage, it's really interesting. There's such an individualistic streak to her that you might naturally think she would be pro-gay rights and pro-gay marriage. And that's true. At the same time, she was really old-fashioned, and she said some very homophobic things. She just didn't like the idea of gay people. So probably the principles would have won out in the end, and she probably would have said, similar to what people are saying today, the state has no right to regulate this relationship, and that's simply up to the individuals involved. But you have to note she was not a champion of gay rights in her life because, she was born in 1905. She was from a European country. She was sort of old-fashioned in that way, and she didn't quite understand it. So there's a strong gay rights following of hers, and they have always been troubled by her negative statements about homosexuality, but they say on the principles, on the merits, she would support both gay rights and gay marriage.